At the Sloan Sports Analytics Conference that occurred earlier in the month, 76ers president of basketball operations Daryl Morey said this.
When you're making a decision, are you asking an LLM for their input?
So we two answers there. We absolutely use models as a vote in any decision.
LLM stands for Large Language Model and is your AI chatbots like ChatGPT and Google Gemini that you are seeing more and more of nowadays. Considering the fact that Morey uses these AI programs to help drive team building decisions, and the current construction of the Sixers will be needing massive change within the next 2 seasons, I asked 5 of the biggest AI chatbots what they would do if they were in Morey's shoes. I asked them all the exact same prompt. In under 800 words, describe in detail the moves you would make as the president of basketball operations of the Philadelphia 76ers. Make sure you are following the most recent CBA and its cap restrictions. We will start with Grok, which is X or Twitter's AI chatbot. I was surprised to find that Grok had a really strong understanding of the CBA, its rules, and how it could restrict possible free agent options for the Sixers this upcoming offseason. It also did a good job of focusing on the health of Joel Embiid and Paul George, and set a harsh 65-70 game limit for both of them. The biggest issue with Grok's response was the fact it clearly did not have an updated roster to work from, mentioning transactions including players who are no longer on the team anymore, like Patrick Beverley, KJ Martin, Kayla Martin, Paul Reed, and Nicholas Batum. Grok identified a need at backup center, yet suggested swinging a trade for Bulls center Nikola Vucevic, who is a certified starting center in the league and would be unlikely to accept a backup center role. Grok also suggested signing Malik Beasley in the offseason using the taxpayer mid-level exception. This unfortunately will be unlikely because Beasley is having a tremendous season with the Detroit Pistons and will likely be offered way more than the taxpayer mid-level exception, which is worth just over $5 million. Also, the Sixers' ability to even use the TMLE depends on the free agency decisions of Kelly Oubre and Gershon Yabusele. Grok clearly does not understand the Sixers' first-round pick situation or just how bad the current season is going. The next AI we will test is Microsoft Copilot. Their first thought, to build around Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey for the future, is not crazy. Yet everything else they detail sounds as if they woke up a day or two after the James Harden trade 2 seasons ago. They suggest trading Tobias Harris, signing Maxey to an extension, getting 3-and-D help with guys like Bruce Brown or Jay Crowder. It said the Sixers should develop Paul Reed and Jaden Springer, build a culture of accountability, hard work, and unity within the organization, and everything else Copilot said was pretty vague and nondescript. I can be pretty sure it is not the LLM Morey is using. Next is Google's crack at it with Gemini. Gemini produced some similar results as Copilot. They did not know that the Maxey extension already happened. There is no mention of Paul George. They do not know that Tobias Harris is no longer on the team, and they still think we need 3-and-D wings. Some good things they did mention was prioritizing Embiid's health and longevity, and to completely avoid the second apron at all costs, even when trying to prioritize winning with Embiid. And the last thing I think of note is Gemini's top priority was to look at the coaching staff and possible changes. It is impossible to tell if it is referring to the current coaching staff under Nick Nurse or the previous staff under Doc Rivers. I don't necessarily disagree with them either way. If you thought Copilot or Gemini needed an update, wait until you hear what Meta AI has to say. The first thing it says is Maxey and Embiid should be cornerstones. Fine. It says that the Sixers should re-sign Tobias Harris to a 2-year, $40 million deal, trade Al Horford, and waive George Hill. Meta AI is living in the 2020 offseason, which is insane because that was one of, if not the shortest NBA offseasons in history. It occurred right after the NBA bubble, and the season started on Christmas. It also said that Shake Milton, Charles Bassey, and Matisse Thybulle are still on the team. And by making the moves they suggested, the 76ers would be well positioned to compete in the Eastern Conference. If it is stuck in 2020, how do we warn it of the things to come? Moving on to our final AI chatbot, ChatGPT. Now, I was pretty disappointed in ChatGPT. It knows the current year and what rules to operate under, yet it has, once again, an outdated sense of the Sixers roster. It suggests they trade Tobias Harris, move on from James Harden, and again, extend Maxey to a team-friendly deal. It suggests targeting players like DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine in a trade, and bringing in backup center help to have insurance for Embiid. It even understands that the Sixers should focus on drafting high IQ, versatile players in the draft, especially the notably deep 2026 draft class. You're telling me ChatGPT can understand how deep an upcoming draft class is, yet it does not have the slightest clue as to the current roster makeup of the 76ers. It should be noted that ChatGPT generally stayed away from talking about the cap outside of the Tobias Harris and James Harden sections. And one observation I think is cool is that it understands that it is better to have young talent that can be developed than overpay for veterans, which is pretty solid. As we can see, AI still has room to grow in understanding the importance of updated information, but it does have a good grip on the foundational concepts and strategies needed to be a general manager, or in this instance, president of basketball operations. It was upsetting to see no mention of Jared McCain or Quentin Grimes across the 5 AIs tested, especially considering how important they might be for the future of this team. Let me know what you guys think of their responses in the comments below, and your thoughts on Daryl Morey using these programs in the front office. I feel that if I were to try this test again with other LLMs, I would try to focus the question a little bit better to make it clear I am talking about the current roster and its players. Let me know in the comments if that is something you would like to see in the future. Thank you for watching. I will catch you all soon.